A somber log from my diary of a griever named John Weaver, which is me. It's close to 7 o'clock in the morning, guys. It's Wednesday, the 18th of February, 2026. I have to admit this, that being a dog owner has a hell of a lot of responsibility on a person's shoulder. From the time you get your dog, there's a short window of, or maybe a little longer window for a dog to get used to the master, or to the owner, or to the next family member. And then after that, the adventure comes. All the ups and downs and things that go along with taking care of your newly acquired family member. I can't call them pets. Once you've adopted them as family members, it's no longer a pet. It's one of you. And it's challenging beyond anything else to keep your dogs alive and safe. Especially when I'm dealing with a dog who's grown elderly in my years of caregiving. That you have to keep on top of the animal safety, well-being. Otherwise, it might surprise you that some things that you do have a tendency of biting you in the butt. And you have to watch out for the smaller dogs as well as the larger dogs, because you have to watch your feet half the time. They can be the most aggravating and yet most endearing and heartbreaking when things happen and it changes lives a great deal. Decisions made, dynamics. I don't get rid of family members. It's hard enough seeing other members having hip problems when they're the larger ones. But the smaller ones, you really have to be more careful. I'm saying this as life lessons because one wrong move can change the dynamics a great deal. And some decisions have to come, especially when there's no other choice. The hardest thing is when you pour that much into a relationship. There's a hell of a lot to be expected out of you. And then comes the part of trying to adapt afterwards. I have to be reminded of these things. My responsibility in many ways. Some things happened in the past few days that really challenged it, and some decisions are still somewhat pending, but it may be inevitable. We are all going to be passing away eventually. That's depend on how and when, and not just why. Some things that I may have taken for granted, such as the annoyance, but the annoyance is always there. just when you get more fussier and fussier as you grow older. Because you have many needs. You have emotional needs besides the physical needs. Need of an arm, even though if the arm is sore as hell, still has need for one. Sleep. Somewhat. She hadn't been saying much. So those dynamics got screwed up. Then I have to keep an eye on her for the next few days. And that kind of hard choice and that hard decision's coming. And that's going to be changing me a great deal. I may not be the same. Perhaps I've never been. But when that day comes, it's going to be changing a lot between me and a loved one. It may sound cryptic right now. However, if you had a family member like this for a long while, then you know. The words are hard to say. The words are hard to come by. Some things will shake and rattle your soul and your judgment. It's not all the advice you may hear. I know there's always that denial in there. They're trying to say, give me more time. But then again, is there any more time left? Sometimes there may not be any choice. This isn't easy to say. We could try equating it into adulthood. Adults, almost the same situation, except a lot more articulate than. And they may not make as much sense, but somewhere they're trying to. They may say other things that you don't understand what or why. They still want life, but maybe they also want to be released. Sometimes we have to wait for the adults to make that decision. Make it with their own maker, and then they pass. And it's hard to deal with that kind of decision, that kind of moment in time. A long time ago, when my mother was alive, last several years were declining on her health, mental and physical. She had lost too many people she cared about. And for that, it was hard to deal with. Seeing someone slowly losing the light in their eyes. Until maybe the last 2 or 3 years they're in a bed and gaining more illnesses. And still trying to appreciate those who are still taking care of them. Until it was time. And there was a few more days left in her life, struggling under something she really hated. When you're dealing with adulthood, guys, check out the advanced directives, power of attorneys, because they may or may not be hindrances, or they may be helpful. But advanced directive would mean that nobody can stick life support into the body. And if it hasn't been worked out, then tubes all over the place to keep a mortal corpse going, not to mention monitors all over the place. Until the last sign of shred of recordable life is gone. I was like that many years ago. My brother and I did as best as we could for her. It may not have been enough. We'd hoped she'd pulled out, but when the spirit is saying that it wants to die, it wants to leave the body, it's going to do that. And the preparation for passage happens. For some people it's instant, it's quick, and other people it's a long-term process. Probably agonizing as hell for the ones going to be leaving. And for those who are outside watching it, it's even worse. Because we got to deal with the memories, and we got to deal with the after effects of what happened. We have to contemplate everything and anything about it, because it hurts that bad. It hurts that bad. I served Ma her last meal of grapefruit pomelo on 31st of January 2013. And then Mama went for respiratory failure. Dave and I tried struggling with her to keep her life going. You know, the paramedics came in. I guess maybe there was a decision made somewhere up the chain of command that she's going to be lasting for a little bit longer because we needed to get this processed. Because maybe somebody upstairs was looking at David and me needing to process it all. And the brothers had to do this because we didn't know what the hell to do. We thought we could keep Ma on life support. Didn't want to lose her. But she had already signed an advance directive on us, and we totally forgot about it. It was our job to remember the damn thing. We didn't pull out the paperwork until days later when we're going through stuff. Gave her either 19 days of life or 19 days of agony, however you want to look at it. David and I had to come to grips and had to come to terms with what was going on. And while it was the last day when we could no longer get her vitals read, we filled out the paperwork. Got the message from the hospital after we got in. Tried to take a nap. Woke up. And realized that was it. And it was like a weight either shifted on us or made us more having breathing issues. We couldn't stop the flow. We couldn't stop the flow in our arms. Yeah, we couldn't stop the tears coming down from our eyes and chest upheavals left and right. And after that, it was just blanking things out and not realizing how screwed up we really were. And struggle of trying to live life without a mother. Just the brothers trying to cling on each other for life support, for sanity. We tried to find other things to occupy ourselves because we didn't want to deal with the pain. We didn't want to deal with the agony. We didn't want to deal with any of it. You know, it's one thing when you lose family members of other than two-legged kind, shall I say. and how hard it hits at times when those lives that made a real mark on us, how much we miss them, especially if we have videos and photographs of their existence, and how hard sometimes it is to recall their names, how much they meant to us. The adults are worse. We can put our other than two-legged family members up in urns and store them as we look at them from time to time. Sometimes we remember them as they were, or not. Even when you see a picture, bypass it entirely. But when it comes down for the adults, that's another thing altogether. For those who are really close, and I mean super close, a pain and agony is, it doesn't diminish enough during time. There are triggers. There are emotional triggers. Situations, music, words, visualizations. Anything that the five senses happen to pick up, it'll trigger. The sixth sense, memories. Something will trigger up the memory, and then you feel it. You feel the loss, you feel the emptiness, you feel the pain. Tears are coming and you can't stop it. The wails go on and on. Even when you recognize the triggers, it still doesn't help. Your brain's already been activated, and the process continues. Sometimes it's a lot worse in the beginning years, and then afterwards it tapers, but it's still there, just as strong. It just doesn't come frequently. I know there's survival instincts that forces a person to block everything else out just to focus on the moment. Trust me, you're building up the pressure until one day, you don't know when or how or when which trigger's activated, and then it hits hard. There is no shame in going for therapy sessions, for groups, or for individuals, or maybe both. There is no shame in talking to people about it all. There is no shame of recording it any way you can. There is no shame of remembering, memorializing, not trivializing them. It's nothing trivial about it. The anniversaries will come, the holidays will come, the birthdays, the death days, the special days. And yes, they are also triggers, and they will put you out. They'll knock your ass out, and you will feel it. You will feel like you just want to crawl up somewhere and kill yourself. You just have to hold on and hang on till it subsides. I can't tell you what time limit it is. It all depends on the person. I know there had been a lot of people in the past that would look at this and say, "You're crazy, you're wrong, I'm going to kill myself, I can't deal with this man." I know. I've heard, seen, almost been there myself. Because once you put in that much investment into the relationships, it doesn't matter if they're two-legged or more than that, it hurts like hell. There's a lot of things right now outside that are distracting us that can hinder us physically, but it's not as bad as the emotional when that's not even acknowledged or even taken care of a little bit. It's crippling. It's crippling. Things no longer matter. Taking care of yourself no longer matters. Nothing else matters except the illusion of death. I've been there too many damn times. I've been dead before, really, after a heart operation. Well, actually, during a heart operation at age 4. And I know what death feels like, and I know what it's like to go through it. And trust me, it's an emotional scar when you're a 4-year-old. I haven't been through it as an adult, but almost came close to them a few times. But losing many people and many others in life, it's a scar and it's a weight. And sometimes it's not that easy getting used to it. That pain is so damn crippling, it's even hard to even talk about it, to put it into a context that you can actually say it out loud. But the emotional impact is just as devastating when nothing else matters and you think the only way out is what the other person had gone through. And sometimes you may realize at that instant you made the dumbest mistake in your life. You would say, why? Why? Because you were given life. You were given life. And it's up to you. How do you live it? How do you respond to it? It isn't supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be, the simplest thing like a tiptoe through the tulips. No, that's not it. Sometimes it's challenging. It rips your ass apart, and life wonders if you're going to be able to make it or not. There's no rewards. There's no medals. No recognition except you're a survivor. And maybe if you know about that, you tell the others what you've been through, so they would understand it. You put it into words that you know, that you can try explaining it to the next person, or what they're going to be going through. Because it's never the easiest damn thing to do, is it? Never. Never. So right now I'm dealing and I'm coping. An anniversary is coming up again tomorrow, where the paperwork had already been filed and then the last vestiges were passed on, and then life went on. And the ache was there still, even now. But at least now I'm still trying to deal with it. I said before about therapy works sometimes. You have to recognize what's triggering you. Either you learn how to avoid it or you learn how to use it. Post it up, put it as a picture, you're reminded. But then again, you're also reminded of the good times as well. And at times it's not so hard. At times it's a pain in the ass. But that's what we deal with, guys. And that even means dealing with more than 2 legs. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep track of the dogs that I've already lost. I lost a lot of them. I don't know if she's going to be the last or not. So it makes it hard. I'm 60 years old. I've been through too much of it. But I have to count each day as a blessing and not as a curse. If I look at it as a curse, then I'm really screwed, aren't I? You really have to be careful. was busted two-legged and more than that. That's all I got to say about today, guys. That being said.